So last time in the comment section down below, you guys asked for me to talk about Doomfist, and here I am today talking about Doomfist. And if you have any certain character you want me to talk about in the future, please leave the name and, of course, the character down in the comment section down below, and whoever gets the most upvotes, I'll try to talk about. Anyways, Doomfist right now obviously isn't that great. He has around a 42% play rate, or win rate, and about a, I think, 0.4% play rate. So, not that great. Mainly this comes from the fact that Junkrat is super good right now, Pharah is super good right now, and you have almost no way to kill Mercy depending on the map. With that said though, I feel like there is good reason to learn this character. I feel like he will eventually come into the meta, and definitely learning him now will help you a little bit later down the line. And I feel like generally he's very fun, so we're going to try to talk about him today, even though he might not be the best meta character to play right now to climb up the ladder. As well, I couldn't actually find a Doomfist and Grandmaster past when the Pharah and Junkrat and Mercy changes all came through, so this is a little bit older because there just weren't any. So sorry about that, but hopefully you can still learn quite a bit from this. At the beginning right there, we saw ourselves not actually overextending way too much. What I see a lot of Doomfist doing is that they actually overextend way too much. They jump on the enemy team, on all of the enemy 5 of them, and just hope that they can get a kill and pick something before they die. You don't really want to do that. Instead, often what you want to do is what we've been seeing so far: go around, look for the easy picks, and stay next to the cart and stay next to your team when you know that, there's nothing easy to get. But when there are easy things like this Anna that we saw a few seconds ago, this Reinhardt right now, anything like that, then take it out. You really are a hyper opportunist, even more than a lot of the other DPS, which is, kind of cool, but does really make you dependent on the situation. As far as Doomfist in general, I'm going to say that he doesn't have super strong, consistent DPS like Soldier, and his burst is a little bit inconsistent, but probably one of the best bursts in the game. It's just something that you can't always depend on unless you're right next to them. So it kind of becomes a situation where he's sort of hard to climb with in his current state. But again, we're going to have to kind of wait to see how the meta changes up in a little bit. Alright, here we see a nice ultimate. We get to pick someone off. With your ultimate, you mainly actually want to use it, instead of just trying to get damage out, use it as an escape. So we're going to be seeing that a little bit later, and just kind of how he uses that. As far as his positioning, obviously, we're seeing him play around the cart, doesn't dive a ton of enemies when they're all together, and he just goes off, again, for the easy people that are splitting off, trying to get kills, anything like that, and works out quite well. His rocket punch, of course, he uses to get picks. He's going to the back line right now, trying to do whatever he can. But other than that, he also makes sure to use his rocket punch to get around the map more than his other abilities. And that's because, of course, it has a much smaller cooldown. You could also say because it has a much further range, but you just kind of want to think about the cooldowns and realize that you might need your other abilities to get away, while the rocket punch, you could probably get up even while you're using all your other abilities. So it's kind of nice in that way. As well, we don't see him always charging his rocket punch fully. Sometimes it doesn't work out for him because they barely live, but most of the time when that happens, he immediately shoots them and kills them. But a lot of the time you don't really need to charge it fully, and a lot of the time if you charge your rocket punch fully, the enemy's gonna get away before you can even hit it in the first place. Against this Lucio, for example, we don't always charge it fully. We couldn't kill him for a while, but we eventually kill him. And that just kind of shows that you kind of need to charge it fully sometimes, but a lot of the time you don't need to get it all the way up there, and instead just use it as a pretty good damaging tool and try to finish them off with the rest of your damage as quickly as you possibly can. Also earlier, and I think we've been seeing this quite a bit, if you miss your rocket punch as this character, as we see him doing, from time to time obviously, because you can't hit every single one because the hitbox is so dang small right now, you can actually still go in with the uppercut and then try to primary fire them. Right there we saw that. We hit the rocket punch on one person, and then there's another one there, and instead of just trying to shoot them with our primary fire, we hit the uppercut and then we primary fire, because it makes it that they can't really move in the airway too much. It's kind of nice how that goes. Your primary fire actually does a ton of damage if you can try to hit them in the head. I'm not sure if it's actually like percentage more damage, but I think I remember when I tested it, it was like 2.5% more than the average crit. Maybe that's just me though, don't take that as fact, but it seems something like that. So it's very important to get those headshots, and it's very easy when they're either popped up in your E or popped up in your uppercut. So those are nice things to have. Yeah, I guess continuing, when you are playing this character, you want to make sure that you keep going in, you're getting your stacks, you're getting your shields, because if you don't have those up, you can't really beat a lot of the other DPS, and they can just kill you before you can really kill them, because you take a second to kind of wind up with your rocket punch and with your other abilities. So when you see other DPS, kind of wait until you have some shields up, or at least like a Zarya shield or some heals or anything like that. Otherwise, just go after the supports in the back line, or just help your own teammates in the front line, punching like a Winston or a Reinhardt or something until you have your shields up, and then you can dive the enemy back line and all their DPS. Right there we take out the Junkrat again. Works out pretty well for us, and we're just pushing in. We're helping our team close in quite well. When your team is pushing up for a new point, as we saw a little bit earlier and as we saw right there, you can just kind of go a little bit ham compared to what you normally do. For the most part, you don't want to just always jump on the enemy backline again and again and again. But when you get to the new point and the cart's not moving, it's just kind of sitting there and you're waiting, just go for the kills. Hope that you can get them, and if you don't, just regroup with your team and, you know, play smart. But often if you can get a pick, you know, a lucky pick or skillful pick or whatever you want to call it, that can help your team just win from right there. Your ultimate, you see right here, can actually be used kind of as a zoning tool. It'll kind of creep people out, and they'll often not really want to go to where it's most likely going to be dangerous. So you can use that to help yourself out. As far as, you know, who to target some more, sorry, I'll try to stop using as far as I use that a lot. But who you want to target some more than other characters is the people with lower HP. While you can one-shot full HP characters, often it's easier and just probably a better idea for you to target the people at like 3/4 or half HP, because you don't have to really focus on getting a fully charged alternate fire or fully charged rocket fist. You can instead get quite a bit of damage with your rocket fist and then finish them off with a primary fire or finish them off with an uppercut or something like that, so you don't have to be so focused on hitting your rocket fist, because oftentimes you can't really hit that. So you do, I guess, just maybe want to keep that in mind a bit. As far as the rocket fist, it is a lot harder to hit now. You got to practice it a lot more, and against characters like Junkrat, you kind of need a tank to go in with. You can't really kill them by yourself with the rocket fist. You just need someone else to help you out, and especially against, like, you know, Pharah, you can't really use it at all against her in most maps. So maybe you just have to go hit scan in that case. It's kind of awkward, but, you know, whatever. I guess that's just kind of what you have to deal with when playing this character. Off to defense, which I feel like he does pretty well on, depending on the map. If it's a very close range map, I think that he does quite well. However, if it's an open map, like the first point right here, I feel like if they had a Pharah, it would be very difficult for this guy to pull it off. But since they don't, you know, he can do okay. Even with that said, I feel like this guy's a very risky pick, because if you pick someone like Junkrat or Pharah or Soldier on your own team, there's almost no risk with them. While this guy's super high risk, high reward. You're going to be seeing him get a lot of kills, while at the same time, he's going to be dying a lot more than you'd really hope that your DPS would die. Right there, we saw something, of course, at the very beginning of the map. You can dive in, try to help your team, try to poke people off the enemy backline, whatever. And especially if you do have something like a Zarya, you really want to get one of those. It lets you go in, it lets you try for free damage, try for free picks, and if you don't have a Zarya, you have to play so passive that it's just kind of unbearable. And especially now with Junkrat, you can't really kill him unless you have his shield to help you out. So, you know, there you go. It's kind of difficult to deal with, but something that you might want to keep in mind. I kind of want to go back to something right here as we were just, you know, getting back to the point, using all of our mobility, you know, some stuff you should always do. This was one of the only gameplays I could find of Doomfist where Mercy wasn't buffed. So I do want to talk about, because I feel like this is very important, you might have to realize that depending on the map, especially a map like this, you just can't kill Mercy at times now. And you just kind of have to accept that. And instead of, you know, diving on the Mercy and hoping that you can kill her maybe just with luck, you might just want to go after other characters, try to make so the Mercy has to waste her res on certain people, and just go plus, not really in kills, but instead on res charges. I know that can be kind of hard to think about, but you kind of have to just let your Widow or your Soldier or anyone else focus the Mercy. Of course, if you do get the chance to easily pick up the Mercy, go for it, but it doesn't always work out for you. Right there we saw for ourselves, enemy McCree could take us out pretty easily. That does kind of work if they are at pretty far range. And that was the one time I feel like so far where we just kind of got picked out because we didn't have anyone on our team helping us out, and we didn't really have any shields to really help us out at all either. As we're getting, I guess, further and further on this defensive map, they're pushing it kind of far, but not way too far, so it's working fine for us. Of course, we do keep going in on the enemy backline because no one's doing way too much about it, and a lot of the enemy tanks are being taken out. We're pushing them back and pushing the tanks into a position where they need to heal. Right there, I have no idea how we missed that. It's just kind of what you have to deal with this character. And right there again, I don't know. It just sometimes does happen. But we're often pushing the enemy tanks back, getting some damage on them. And then when they're back, we can go after the enemy backline on the Soldier. Unfortunately, we get Helix right there, but we almost got him, so there's a good chance for us. When you are playing like this on defense, though, what you kind of want to focus on is going all in, getting these kills, doing all that fun stuff. or just not standing out in the open and just kind of waiting around walls, waiting on roofs, anything like that, hiding around corners. Those are your two main options, because if you just, I guess, you know, stand out in the open behind a Ryan shield or something like that, you're not really going to get any picks. You're just going to get a lot of damage out on yourself, or just a lot of wasted time, and it's not going to work out super well for you. Here we have a super good play where the enemy, or our Zarya does something nice, you know, a huge graviton, and then of course we follow up. As this character, you do have to make sure that you're always following up, because it's kind of hard for you to make plays by yourself. You really need your team to allow yourself to make the big plays, but when you're in a position to make big plays, you can do it. I guess one problem can be that it's kind of hard to solo carry, which you can do as most of the other flankers. This guy's like a flanker burst that helps your team. Bit of awkwardness put together, but if your team is doing fine and if you can get help from them, you can win a ton. As far as the elo that we're at right now, it is pretty high, so people generally know to heal us, to shield us, whatever. But if people aren't doing that for you, just ask. If you ask people, you'll often receive. And right here, we punch that Pharah. So you do have a chance of killing them if there's a wall and if there's high ground. So you do have that, I guess, for yourself. For all those people that say in a counter argument, you can kill Pharah. Yeah, in some situations you can, but for the most part, don't blame yourself for the enemy Pharah. You often can't do way too much. Right there, you know, again, the soldier just kind of killing us, getting behind us. Not way too much we can do. The old Mercy res where you could res everybody at the same time. Mercy mains, very happy about that. As far as, you know, just continuing though, we get to the enemy Mercy. I think we get to take her out. You can follow up quite well with this character, and much better than most other DPS even. I'd say only Tracer can really follow up better because she has 3 movement options, and while you do technically have 3, you know, with your uppercut, I wouldn't say that's like a horizontal movement option that lets you chase very easily. Well, your other 2 obviously are. So once we're getting close to the end of GR right now, you kind of just want to go for some picks, because if you can stall for extra time, get 1 pick, and then the enemy team has to wait like an extra 30 seconds, that'll help you win quite a bit. But if you can't get the pick, as we saw right there, you know, you go for your damage if it doesn't work out for you, use your ultimate as an escape. As I was saying earlier, I think at the very beginning of the video, your ultimate, while an okay damage dealer, and while something that you can use to get a free kill on certain characters like Zenyatta, or maybe McCree if he doesn't have his shift up, or any of those characters, you want to use your ultimate mostly to get out or to re-engage. So let's say you're on the entire enemy team, all 5 of them, you get a pick and then you think you're about to die. Use that ultimate, try to get out, or try to just jump straight back onto them, but with extra shield. Those are your 2 main options with your ult. You can use it to just try to combo all the time, but it doesn't work out way too well for you, and you're probably just going to be disappointed by the lack of combos that it does supply. It does deal a decent amount of damage, 300, but that doesn't kill everyone. It can be blocked with a lot of ultimates. It can be just shielded through, a lot of different things like that. So I don't know, just kind of think of it more of as an escape and a re-engagement tool than anything else. And don't use it to actually try to engage in the first place, because if you do, you're just going to get picked off. So that's not something you want to focus on. Back to Junkrat and Pharah right now though. Again, in this patch, they were a lot worse than they are right now, and they still hurt him a lot, as you see. So now it's just much worse. So please, Jude, just kind of focus on that. And I don't know, if you can, I'd say probably try to duo queue with a Mercy, not a Mercy, an Ana, so a hit scan, or a Widowmaker, a McCree, or a Soldier. If you can duo queue with one of those guys that can take care of the people flying in the air, and with the Junkrats, you can win quite a bit of games. But if you keep getting a lot of other close range DPS like a Reaper on your team, or, you know, even a Junkrat on your team, you might be kind of screwed in a lot of situations. So maybe that's who you want to duo queue with, and that could actually win you a lot of games, because you supply so much for your team, but that simple weakness can just lose you a game by itself. So I don't know, kind of focus on that. And finally, play maps that are close, that you can easily one-shot people, and not maps that are super open, because of course you don't have way too much range. And people, if they can just fly away or jump away, it can be kind of hard for you to follow up after you use your initial engagements. And especially if you use your engagements and it's a super open map, you can't really disengage, which kind of hurts you as well. Anyways, as always, that's all I'm going to say about this guy. I feel like Doomfist is a fun character. I really wish I could main this guy. I love Doomfist, and I wish that he was more tanky. I wish that he was more bruisery. I wish that he could maybe do more damage to tanks, or do something better. He's just in a really awkward position. Maybe even if they made so that his alternate fire would hit like everybody, kind of like a Lee Sin ultimate, if you know who he is. Maybe that could work. Maybe a few changes will come down the pipeline, and the new season is coming up soon, so we might be getting something. Because as we saw with Sombra, they don't really like the new characters to be ignored, but at the same time, Doomfist is kind of a hard character to buff because so many people hate him because of his one-shot, similar to how old Roadhog was, so I don't know, maybe eventually we're going to get a rework with him. Either way, though, that's all I'm going to say about this guy. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment down below who you want to see for the next video, and hit that subscribe button to see more videos like this. And as always, guys, thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful day. I'd like to thank Gilded.gg for sponsoring this video, and mainly helping me a lot through the adpocalypse. So, Gilded itself is a website focused on finding, founding, and expanding your gaming team with relative ease. You can schedule events, recruit new members, build team comps, and find teams to scrim with and to scrim against. Best of all to you guys, it's free. You can get started yourself with the link in the description below, and if you sign up by November 10th, you'll be entered into a chance to win a $50 Blizzard gift card. So, maybe I'll see you there.